Greetings, it is I, Rokotar. Ah, look, it's that time of day when I come out and review a Disney movie. On today's episode, we shall review Walt Disney's Snow White, which released 85 years ago to both critical and commercial acclaim, despite all the odds going against it. But that begs the question, does it still hold up? Is it still good after these 85 years? Well, I'd be spoiling the rest of the video if I told you that now. So, you'll have to stick through to the end if you want to know the definitive answer. In this video, I'll be going through three major points: the characters, the plot, and the presentation. And in the end, I'll review all of that and give my final ranking of the movie. But before we get to all that, make sure you're subscribed, and also hit the bell next to the subscribe button, so that way you'll stay notified whenever I upload any videos like this, and I plan to make many more in the future, so stay tuned. So the first question is, are the characters any good? And that further begs the question, is Snow White a good character in her own movie? It is very important for the main character to be well written and engaging after all. So, well, let's see. Snow White might just be the simplest princess in the Disney canon, and I'm afraid that might not be for the better. Snow White is also the most girly Disney princess, and is very typical of movies of her time, which also means she's very boring, as the writers back then rarely knew how to make compelling female characters. With maybe the exception of a couple villains here and there, Snow White kind of just acts out her happy-go-lucky personality throughout the movie, and then gets poisoned at the end before the magical happy ending. Her main character traits are literally cooking, cleaning, and singing. Not exactly the greatest character. And, as I said before, very of her time. Though, to be fair, she does get a couple brief moments of sarcasm when the dwarves haven't washed their hands.
Oh, did you hurt yourself?
Maybe a bit more of that could have improved your character. While we're at it, I might as well throw good old Princey Charmboy under the bus as well. Oh wait, never mind. Prince Charming is the name of the guy from Cinderella. This guy's name is actually Prince Florian. True story. But that doesn't really matter when he only shows up like 2 times in the whole movie. He just swoops on in, singing his heart out to a girl he barely knows, and other such highly questionable behavior.
Constant and true.
But are those the only 2 losers of this movie? Well, Evil Queen Lady, who does have a name as well, but I honestly forgot, and we'll probably just add some text or something. Anyways, she's probably like the most self-absorbed Disney character ever created, until Moana. The only reason she ever does anything in this movie is because she wants to be the bestest ever. And as soon as her good pal Mirror Boy over here says, "Sorry, but I ain't feeling you today," she completely flips and goes murder mad. In all actuality, she is a pretty entertaining villain, if her motives are very simple, and I always love a good villain defeats themselves ending. Ah, look at the time. It's off to Dwarvsville we go. The 7 dwarves are probably the biggest highlight of the film, especially Doc. He's up there with the Disney comic relief greats.
Oh, perhaps you have washed.
Perhaps we... Yes, perhaps we have.
But when?
When? When? You said when? Why, last week, recently.
And then, of course, you have the ever-iconic Grumpy and Dopey. Grumpy may actually be the most complex character in the film. That sounds weird to say, but it's probably true. He actually changes and grows for the better, starting off very, well, grumpy. But he learns to have a heart and accept Snow White, and maybe shave off a bit of his sexism along the way.
Women.
And Dopey is Dopey. He never says anything, so therefore, I don't really have much to say about him. Other than he'll probably have some serious health issues after swallowing that soap. Lastly, we have the other 4 dwarves, aka the gimmicky ones. Happy, Bashful, Sleepy, and Sneezy, who I have a soft spot for because his gimmick is so ridiculous and over the top that it somehow just works.
I can't. Thanks.
These 4 only exist really so that there's actually 7 dwarves like the title suggests, but I guess they're all entertaining enough for what they are. And I believe that's all the characters. Unless I forgot someone. Nah. Now we reach the second major question. Is the plot any good? Firstly, we get a brief intro text to set things up, swiftly followed by the Queen and her vanity problems when Mirror Boy tells her the bad news. Then, Snow White flexes her first character trait, singing. And Mr. I Don't Respect Personal Boundaries shows up and begins singing as well. Miss Queenie looks down and sees her worst fears seemingly confirmed as Crazy Love Boy gives Snow White the goo-goo eyes. So, the Queen sends some guy to go kill her. We talked about him, right? Yeah, I'm sure we did. But he's all like, "No! Run away, Snow White!" So Snow White runs away. Then, this dude fakes out the Queen with a pig heart, and the Queen just kind of sits around, happy and unknowing for a while. Meanwhile, Snow White is off invading people's homes and flexing her second character trait by doing their chores for them. You know, so maybe they won't press charges against her when they get back. Insert one dwarf mining sequence. Then, Snow White falls asleep in a stranger's home. Very intellectual decision, I must say. And what do you know, the dwarves just happen to pop up while she is sleeping. Many shenanigans later, the dwarves uncover Snow White. But the second they hear about food, all the thought of murder leaves their minds, so that Snow White can flex her third and last character trait, cooking. But wait! Before anyone can eat, we must interrupt the plot to bring you people washing their hands!
Here we go. Step up to the tub. Okay, no disgrace. Just pull up your sleeves and get them in place. Then scoop up the water and rub it on your face and go...
Around this time, the Queen double checks to make sure she's still the Queen, if you know what I mean. But, oh me oh my, looks like Snow White is still up and cracking. Time to go turn myself into an ugly hag just to kill Snow White because I'm so obsessed. Never mind the fact that I'm making myself ugly and my whole goal was to be the prettiest. Oh, and fun fact, did you know that this skeleton right here was actually going to be revealed to be Snow White's dead father, killed by the evil queen in a prequel movie about the 7 dwarves that was almost made? Well, now you know. Insert party and singing scene. Eventually, the dwarves go off to work again, and Snow White is home alone. Unfortunately, she has some trust issues, as old Queenie tricks her in about 10 seconds flat. Snow White takes the bite, get it, and falls to the Queen's sleeping death curse. As soon as the dwarves find out, they head off for revenge and chase the Queen up a cliff. But then, in a stroke of pure genius, the Queen uses a giant boulder to kill herself. The dwarves lament, Snow White, not the Queen to be specific, and, in another questionable choice, decide not to bury her. I mean, technically she isn't dead, but they don't know that. Instead, they put her in a glass coffin, you know, so they can watch her body slowly decay over time. That is why, right? They do know she won't look like this forever, right? But fear not! Mr. I Have No Personality Other Than Singing Vague Love Songs shows up to save the day by kissing a woman who is essentially dead. Also, the dwarves just stand there while a stranger kisses their dead friend. But then, Snow White comes back because of a series of very lucky events, including not being buried by the dwarves, having stories be told about her, a guy she met once being good enough to count as true love, and of course, that guy being a ding-dong who's willing to kiss a borderline dead woman on the lips. But hey! Happy ending! Don't worry about all those logic issues. All that matters is that Snow White gets married. And also screw all those dwarves who've stayed with you day and night in sadness, vigilantly watching your coffin. Now, better to be with this guy I met once. Or maybe Snow White really did die, because that castle at the end looks like it might be in heaven. And now we've reached the third question. How well does the movie present these many aspects I've talked about thus far? Well, most obviously is the soundtrack, which is very good. In fact, I think Snow White still to this day has one of the best Disney soundtracks. Pretty much all the songs are really catchy, except maybe One Day My Prince Will Come and sing a little tune, whatever that one was in the forest with the animals. But the highlights of the soundtrack are definitely Hi-Ho and the first wishing/Princey boy song. The actual background music of the movie is really underappreciated as well. In fact, that is usually the case for most Disney movies. The songs get all the love while the background music is forgotten, despite being usually just as good. Then of course there's the animation, which mostly still holds up. It might not be a top 10 best looking Disney movies, but it's probably in the top half at least. The comedy is another aspect that is well executed. Most of the jokes are still just as funny today as back then, especially when it comes to Doc. Also, I'm surprised the "get 'em" scene hasn't become a meme yet. And lastly, but certainly not least, we have the direction of the movie. The movie features many sweeping and epic shots that are still impressive to this day, and the comedic moments are always on point, with great comedic timing and good visual gags to boot. It's always clear what's happening, and the movie moves through everything at a slick, fast pace, only slowing slightly for an amusing gag or two, and hand-washing. Overall, amazing presentation. Especially when it comes to the scenes involving magic, like the magic mirror, or the Queen's transformation into the old hag. The ending of the movie might be very cheesy, but for some reason it always makes me emotional anyways. I'm pretty certain I have the presentation to thank/blame for that. Well, now that I've finished looking through the film and making all my points, it's finally time to answer that first question. Does it still hold up? But before I answer that, make sure you guys are subscribed. I need all your guys' help if I'm going to be able to keep up these videos. Now, on to the final review. So, does Snow White hold up after 85 years? Well, in short, I would say yes. I believe that despite this movie's lacking main character and relatively simple story filled with many hijinks, the movie's presentation of all its elements always feels refined and entertaining, and always hits the right emotions when they need to. I never minded the story's more simple and magical fairy tale style, probably because most modern fairy tales take themselves too seriously, and often try to be overly clever to varying degrees of success. I think Snow White is a truly timeless movie, just like the one that followed it, though Pinocchio is still better. I'd give the movie an S rank, personally, even if I'm not sure if it definitively deserves it, but that doesn't change the fact that I still love this movie, even if it is 85 years old. A very big thank you to everyone who stuck with me through to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed making it. And, if you want to see more content like this, be sure to bop that red subscribe button like it's Grumpy's nose, and click the bell next to it to ensure that you're always up to date with my latest releases. And be sure to share this video with everyone you know, and leave a comment down below telling me what you think of Snow White, or this video, or both. And, thank you again for watching this video, but most importantly, keep staying iconic out there.